Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Kohar Project here, and today is Tutorial Tuesday where I'm going to show you how I usually color my character using Procreate. But having said that, there's no such a thing as a right or a wrong thing to do in coloring. Basically, it's just showing you the step-by-step, the technical aspect, and the flow of the coloring process that I usually go through. But before we get into that, as usual, if you like me or if you like this content, please smash that like button right now. And if you want to see this channel grow, it's very easy. Just subscribe, turn on the ring notification so you won't miss my next video, which is going to be on Friday. So without further ado, let's get into it. So before I start coloring, the first thing that I need to make sure is I already have the clean line art ready, like this one. As you can see, I prepared this line art for this video today. And if you guys want to check out my other video of how to create a clean line art, you can click the link up there. And once you have this, we can move on to the next step, which is the base color. And then base color is basically, people call it flat color as well, because we don't do shade, we don't do shadows, we don't do anything like that. It's basically just mapping out the color that we want to use for this for our character. So let's do that. The first thing that you need to do is to create a layer on top of the sketch layer, because this is the sketch layer. I hide it there, and let's just rename it so it's easy for you to understand. So there's a sketch layer, and then I just hide it so it won't be a distraction, and then create a new layer on top, above of the sketch but below the line art. So highlight the sketch and then click this button, and then you can rename it as base color. So once you have that, there's a three-way to color the base color. The first method is to manually color it. Like this. So I'm gonna color the skin here. This is the first method that you can do. Don't worry about the color that comes out from the line, we can clean it up later. And then there's another method called drag and drop. So basically you just kind of create the boundaries line like this, and then you can drag the color and drop into it like this, and then you can kind of clean up the bleeding color later. But this is the third step that I usually use, which is using the selection tool over here, and then you choose the freehand, and then you turn on the color fill. This one, it's kind of easier than drag and drop, because you can put the point over here, as you can see, and then you can kind of like just click another point, and then they connect it immediately. So let's do that like this, and then if there's a little skew lines like this, you just gotta do it manually. And then again, you can use this clicking method, just like the lasso tool in Photoshop. And then I'm gonna color the whole skin, not just the face, because like I said, this is the method that I usually use. And then once you get close to the starting point over here, you can just click it, and I'll show you how this method is the best one so far. You just click it and then voila, you have the skin color ready. And the fact that it colors the area of the selection, there won't be any pixel that is not being colored. Like, this is the skin color that I need. And if you use the drag and drop, like this, for example, and then you drag it, there's a little of few pixels over here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's a pixelate area that it didn't get the color. I don't know, like I'm not sure if you can see, but I just don't like the drag and drop because of that reason. So I use the selection method. So remember, there's a three-way. The first one is manually color it, and then the second one is drag and drop, and then the third one is using the selection tool, freehand, and then color fill. So we got the skin ready here now, and then I'm gonna color the clothes first because the hair is on top of the clothes. So we kind of like want to color the base of the character itself, which is the skin, and then the clothes, and then the hair. Okay, and then again we just gonna use the selection and the color fill. And then before we continue, I want to mention that some people separate the skin, the hair, and the clothes on the separate layers, which is, it's not wrong, but it's just too many steps to color. So that's why I'm just gonna put everything on the same color. I mean, on the same layer here. But then I'm gonna color them separately, but still in the one layer. And another thing is, if you use the same color, like I'm using the same color for her strap over here, you don't have to stop the selection, just keep it going and then keep marking the area that you know that you're going to use the same color. So once you get the skin and the clothes, now it's time to color the hair with exactly the same method. And I want to make her hair color kind of like green bluish. I have all the base color that I need. Stay in the base color and then you choose selection tool over here, and then it was freehand before, but now you choose automatic, and then turn off the color fill. It was on when we coloring the base color, so turn it off. And then now you choose the skin color over here, and then this means you choose only the skin color, but if you slide to the right, it's gonna increase the threshold of selection, and you don't want that. Just keep where the skin is. Like if this too much, you can just keep scrolling to the left, or you can undo it like that. And then this one, this one, this one, and all the skin color. So once you're happy with that, oh, there's a little one here. Once you happy with that, you can go to the brush. So now you can only color on the skin selection. Before we get into the shading, this is the extra step that makes the skin look more lively. You choose soft brush, which is it's inside the Procreate. I think it's under airbrush, but I just move all the brush that I always use and then create a new brush, a new folder set, so it's easy for me to find around. And then you can just choose the soft brush, and then you go to like orange pink kind of thing, and choose the lightest one. Slide down the opacity to like 50%, and then increase the size. And you can actually, this is pretty objective, depends on your canvas size, but what I'm trying to say is just add a little bit of a color around her cheek. Oh, the selection is gone. Okay, so make sure the selection is there, and then just color the cheekbone right here, like giving her a little blush. Okay, so as you can see, we got all the base color that we need, and also I colored the eyes just because my preferences after I colored the eyes, it looked more appealing, and then I can work on the shading. But I'm not gonna show you how to color the eyes because it depends on how your style is, and also I already upload videos about how to color the eyes based on my styles. You can check the link again over here. But let's skip the eyes now because this video is strictly just step by step of how I color my character. So after you get all the base color, the next step is you create new layer for the shading, which is on top, above the base color. So let's go ahead and do that, and then you just rename it as shading, and then change the blending option into multiply, and then you choose the clipping mask. So what clipping mask do is basically just gonna set a boundaries of where you can color on your canvas. So now the shading mask is, the shading layer is gonna be only allow you to color on the base color area, like this, for example. And then the shadowing process is something that you need to learn by doing. So the more you do it, the more you can get a sense of where you're gonna put the shadows. For example, if the lights comes from here, the shadows are gonna be most of them gonna be fall on this side, but also you have to pay attention on your clothes, the fold of the clothes, and then the hair and stuff like that. But in today's video, I'm just gonna show you the general idea of shadowing. So first, how to separate between all of this color so you can easily create a shadow. Like for example, first you're gonna shadow the skin, and then the clothes, and then the hair, just like before. So how to do that is go back to the base color layer, choose the selection tool, and then again set it on automatic and turn off the color fill. So now we can choose the skin area like that. You can just choose it by tap on the right threshold, and if the threshold is too far, you can just again slide it down and make sure it's only on the skin color. Okay, so I think we got all the skin color, and then now you go back to the layer and then choose the shading layer, And now my method of shading is very easy. I'm just going to use one color, which is the gray, and I'm going to color the shadow where it falls, and I'm going to show you how to adjust it, and then it will adjust to the base color that we already have. So for now, just follow my step and choose somewhere around here, like the gray here, and use the gouache brush, and then start coloring. Make sure the opacity is 100% so it won't create a different shade of color. And then you have to watch your pressure as well. So for example, because the light comes from here, the shadow is going to be on this side. So here, 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 and then somewhere here, not too much. And then the head and the neck is, so the shadow is gonna fall under the neck like this. So create something like this first, don't worry about it, and then we can like adjust it later, and then we can always like blend it later. So for now, just color it like this, and then as you go further down, release the pressure, and then there's gonna be another shadow here from her hair. And you're probably wondering why the shadow is gray. Please just please just be patient, because it will work out in the end. For now, you just need to work out where the shadow is gonna fall. And then here, for something like this, and you want to like kind of clean up, the blending tool is always your best friend. So choose the blending tool and make sure it's on the soft blend, and then you kind of like smear it a little bit to make it more smooth. Especially this one for the tone area, which is not like a real shadow, just to add more dimension on the drawing. So now we got the shadow on the skin. Now it's time to get a shadow on the clothes. So let's go back to the base color, and then again choose the selection tool, automatic, and then choose the outfit. Let's choose this one part first, and then we choose the gloves and the corset. So again, go back to the shading, use the same brush and the same shade of gray. We can start coloring from here. This. And then you can start coloring from this one as well. Like I said, when you shading the clothes, it's a very based on your experience of shading, because I don't even think I'm the best on shading the clothes, because it is still a learning process for me as well. So just think about where the light hits and where the shadow is gonna fall. There's no right or wrong, it's just like the only way to get better is just keep on practicing. as usual, your best friend of shading is the blending. And then after that, you can go ahead to the rest of the clothes and yeah, just play around with the shadow, and I'm gonna fast forward until we finish with the clothes, and then we're gonna continue to the hair. Okay, so now that's basically how the shadows fall on the clothes, and then now I'm gonna show you how, again, it's the same process of how to shadow the hair. Go back to the base color, automatic selections, and then literally just select the hair like this, and you go back to the shading. Easy. For the hair, I use the soft brush. Go as big as you can. The same shade of the gray again, and then you kind of like give it in the bottom around here, especially below the ponytails, and then here, just like that. Make sure it's like kind of spread all over, and then go back to the gouache, and you're gonna make a detail shadows around here as well. And in the hair, you can actually create something like this, because you know, hair is very abstract, so the shadow might fall on every strand or few strands or like a group of hair, so you can do it like this. And then you can clean it up later to differentiate between the one that hits the lights and the one that casts the shadow. So for now, make sure all the shadows is in the side. And then once you're done, again, blending tool is your best friend. And that's how the shading look like if it's on the one color like this. So let's delete this. I just want to show you how the general shading look like. So delete. And then now where the magic begins. Okay, this is the next step, which is changing the color balance of the shading. So again, go ahead and choose the shading layer, and then choose filter, and then go to color balance and choose midtones. It depends if it's the gray that you use is dark, you could choose shadow, but if it's like somewhere in the middle, you choose midtones. But if it's like very light gray, you choose the highlights. So I believe this gray that I use is a midtones, but let's see. Once you get to the filter and color balance, move the cyan and red to the side, to the right. As you can see, it's already changed the color of the shadow, and it adapts to the color of the base color. Just play around with it and then find the best shading color that you looking for, because this is obviously not working because you can see the pink to the blue. So move this one this way, and this one kind of like somewhere not too far, but also around here. And then voila, now you have the shadow. And again, if you duplicated and then fill the color with the gray. The shadow is gonna look like this. That's how it's supposed to be. And we're gonna go on the next step, which is the highlight, and it's gonna bring our drawing more alive. So let's move on. Okay, so for the highlights, the same method as the shading. You gotta add new layer, and then instead of multiply, you choose add, and then turn on the clipping mask as well, and you gotta choose somewhere around this color, the yellow, bright yellow. And then for the highlights, I usually use the flat brush. For example, I'm just gonna use a small one here, and then you're gonna add the highlight here for the nose. Don't worry about the square end here, because you know you have your best friend, which is the blending option. I mean the blending brush. You can kind of like blend it like this, and then highlight here, and highlight here, and again blend it, so it gives you the nice shining lips. And then now you gotta add highlight where you think the light hits. And then I think that's kind of enough, and let's see if you blend them together how that's gonna look. And then you go to the eraser and then choose technical pen, and then you kind of like erase it a little bit, so it's giving you the shine that you need from the hair. And then after you think that the highlight is enough, again, don't put too much, because everything too much is not great. Just make it as you need. And also highlight is also the same as a shadow. The more you do it, the more you get the sense of where you're gonna put them. And I think that should be okay for now. Now all you need to do is just put them all in the same group together. Object. And then after that, the eye, just gonna put it inside the object folder and then put it on top below the line art, but on top of the base color. So basically the list is gonna be line art, the eyes, highlights, shading, and base color. And then close the folder object and then duplicate it for the assets, and then you go hide it, and then you can flatten this one. There you go. So now everything is in one layer. You go new layer, and then clipping mask, and you go to screen for the lights. And then you choose the yellow, bright yellow, kind of bright color here, and you just soft brush, go bigger, and give a little pressure around here to show you where the light source is. Just go higher, and then you do it somewhere here because you don't want to be too bright. And then if it's too bright, as usual, you can just tone it down like this. There. And then turn it down. And you can kind of add more. I call it the stronger highlights. So that's it for today. It's a long video, I know, but again, if you watch it and if you're doing this while watching it, it's kind of like a free lesson. You don't have to pay or you don't have to spend money. You just literally just need to invest on your time watching this video, and I hope this can be useful for you and learn and you can learn how to shade using my style. And yeah, this is the final result. So that's it for today, guys. I really hope you learned something out of it. And if you want to check out my art or my page, I post some of the reels as well here. And I'll see you on Friday. So stay tuned and stay safe. Bye-bye.